Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to this very special Sunday presentation from Team Fit Revolution, and it's going to be called How to Start a Fit Club. First of all, before we get rolling, I would like to welcome all of you on this very special Memorial Day weekend. I hope you're all getting out, enjoying the time, and the weather hopefully is nice where you are. And I hope you're taking time to remember what Memorial Day is all about as well. Let me introduce myself. My name is Mark Briggs. I'm a 3-star diamond coach with the company. I'm also one of the original founders. And for those that don't know me, I am also in the P90X Plus videos along with Tracy Morrow and Tony Horton. And I would really like to thank all of you for taking time out of your day to jump on this webinar. This is something that was kind of necessary to throw together. I had been mentioning my own fit club through Facebook channels, and I was getting lots of emails from people saying, how do you start this up, and what do you do, and how do you do it? And I realized that we needed to do a presentation about Fit Club and get it posted. Which, by the way, I had several emails, and you can pass it on to people that might not be on the call tonight. I am recording this, and as soon as I get done with it, I will get the video edited, sent over to Blake Warrington, who is our IT guru when it comes to getting these things posted, and he should have it up on the Team Fit Revolution website next week. I need to give Monica Ward a big shout out. She's a member of our leadership team as well. And Monica's actually been doing fit clubs for over a year now, and she's had great success with them. So when it came time to put a presentation together, I reached out to Monica, and she hooked me up with some of her notes. And as it turns out, great minds think alike, because this is the same kind of stuff that I was doing with mine. There's some little bits of variance in the process that we follow, but that's what's great about this, is that there's no set specific way that says you have to do it this way or you're going to fail. As long as you follow the general guidelines, I think you're going to have great success, and I'm very excited to bring this to you tonight. So I'm going to get started on it right away. The purpose of a fit club. As you can see, the purpose is to expose people to the Beachbody community through a free workout. It is open for coaches, customers, and guests, which we use the term prospects sometimes. And, to me, Fit Club is really about building relationships and building friendships within your community. It's getting people involved in something that is healthy, something that is good for them. It builds great friendships. I had a couple people at my Fit Club on Wednesday that they came in. It was their first time doing a workout with me. We did a Tony Horton one-on-one workout. They were very excited, been doing P90X for a while. We became really quick friends. They actually came to my house and watched the UFC with me last night. And one of them signed up as a coach this evening, and his wife is going to sign up as a coach under him tonight too. So it happens that quickly. All right. Now, as they say, prospects can check out programs before they buy. When their workout is first, a sale will usually follow. And what this does, first of all, you want to do a variety of workouts. So if you were fortunate enough to jump in on the early deal, which actually expires on May 31st, you can still pick up that Summit price Diamond Pack, which gives you a good variety of workouts. So last week at mine, we did a Tony Horton one-on-one workout. This week we're going to do a different trainer. Haven't decided who or what we're going to do exactly yet, but it's really, really a great time. People get into it and we have fun. So Fit Club provides a workout and live support groups that keep people accountable and keeps them motivated to come back. As the saying goes, I hear and I forget, and I see and I remember, I do and I understand. So what all that really means is this is something that you get out into your community every single week. All right, you repeat it, the group grows, and you'll start having regulars. You'll start building friendships, and as the old movie used to say, build it and they will come. What do you need to do to prepare for a fit club? You have to choose your location. A lot of people, I received a lot of emails from people saying that, the only place I can find is renting out for like $60 an hour. Personally, that's what I ended up paying. You can find churches, you can find some community buildings that you can probably get into for free or at minimal cost. One of the things that I did for mine is I got on Facebook when I was starting my fit club, and I did a call to action video. Basically got on there and said, all right, if you are a coach anywhere in the Champaign, Illinois area, because I live in central Illinois, I'm going to be starting a fit club. If you would like to join me in this venture, send me an email. We'll get on a conference call and we'll discuss the specifics about what we're going to do and how we're going to do it. And that was it. That was my call to action, and I gave that about a week, and I kept reposting it so that it would pop up fresh each day. And I had several coaches from the area, not just coaches from my own team, but coaches from different downlines also came in. So don't feel that this is only a team thing. This is something that's going to benefit everybody. Remember, we are Team Beachbody. We're not one upline, one downline. We're all in this together. Okay. So once you've got your venue, you want to pick a day of the week and a time of the week to do your fit club, and you want that to be consistent, which is the reason that you want to bring other people on. Personally, I travel a lot. I actually had about a 3-week window where I was home to get this ball rolling. I have a great team of people out in Massachusetts, some of which are on this call tonight, and they're just absolutely exploding with it. They had such popularity with their fit club, they added a second day to it. They're also doing a weekly meeting on a different day, so they have 2 days that they're doing fit club, 1 day of a weekly meeting, and it's just growing leaps and bounds for them. So consistency is key. You're going to need either a TV with a DVD player or a projector with a DVD player. I opted to pick up a projector. If you get on, there's a variety of places you can go. You can get on eBay, you can get on Overstock.com, Amazon.com. I did the easy way, and I went up to Best Buy in town where I lived, and I picked up a projector. You want to obviously advertise and get the word out. What I ended up doing was I created a Word document flyer. It was just a very basic flyer. It had the location, the day of the week, and the time that the workouts were going to take place, and a name for our group. I named our group the East Central Illinois Fit Club. And it's just a little short blurb about, hey, come join us. This is your chance to try Beachbody workouts. I'm sure you've seen P90X Insanity, so make use of that known name branding when you're advertising. And I made up a bunch of flyers. We went out and we put them up all over 2 different cities. So in addition to that, I had business cards printed. I had 2-sided cards printed. I had the East Central Illinois Fit Club on one side, where it says join us for a free workout and hear about our business opportunity. It lists the location, the day and time of the week, the referring coach, all right, and I'll get more to that in a minute. So you put your name on there and you put your coach website on there. So when you're out and about in town or doing your thing or you're shopping at your store and you're talking to people, pass these cards out and invite them to the workout, okay? So did the flyers, did the cards. Some people also recommend using meetup.com to help find groups. I've pretty much been spreading it word of mouth. I took these business cards that I just mentioned to you, as well as the flyers, and when we had our first fit club, I passed those out to the coaches that had elected to join the team. Now, by having those coaches on the team, that serves several purposes. First, we're getting the word out through many more avenues than we would with one coach just running this. The other thing that it does is it helps defer the costs. $60 an hour divided between 10 coaches isn't too bad, all right? That's very affordable. It's something you can all kick in a little bit each week. You also pool your resources. I offer recovery formula after the workout. So I provide it 1 week, another coach will provide it another week, so on and so forth. Created a schedule. Because I started it up, and I do this full time. I'm a full-time Team Beachbody coach. So when I'm not traveling for coach-related things, I will be at my fit club, and I expect all of my coaches to be at the fit club that are on the team when they can be. But obviously, we all have lives. We have kids that are involved in things. We've got summer vacations coming up. So you create a schedule based on availability, and the coaches on your team sign up and say, okay, I can do it this week, you can do it next week. So you get it lined out so that you have everything covered. Generally, I recommend having at least 2 coaches present for each fit club, and the reason for that, the next one down, as you can see, is a sign-in sheet, and you collect personal info for follow-up, and then the choice of workout with different programs. But You have one person that's working a desk for the sign up. Okay, you're going to need a liability waiver. I have a waiver that includes, it's a liability waiver, it's also an appearance waiver. And I take pictures and shoot video during the workouts. And then I post it up on Facebook and I tag the people that are in it. And it's just more excitement building. People see themselves on there in the video and they comment and joke with each other. So it's a great way to do that stuff. But you also have people tracking. Now, with the sign-in sheet, this is where these cards come into play. Say for example, there's a coach that's passed out cards, but he or she has an obligation that night, they can't be at Fit Club, and somebody shows up at the door with that coach's business card, their referral card. That coach's information is noted on that sign-in sheet. So each week we go through, and that way we can allocate the people that have come in that were referred by a coach, we get them the follow-up information so they can make contact with that customer, that person, see how they enjoyed Fit Club, get feedback, and have them become a customer or possibly a coach. So that's the first thing, and that's the incentive to get your team out passing out the business cards. Say for example, it's your week to work Fit Club, and you have somebody come in, they don't have a business card, and they say, well, how did you hear about our Fit Club? What brought you in here tonight? And they say, well, I saw a flyer that was posted in town. The way I'm working this, if they're not claimed to anybody, they're a walk-in customer at that point. So whoever's running Fit Club collects that person's data, and that's their customer. So it's an incentive to pass out cards, and it's an incentive to be there to work the club. And if you have 4 coaches and you have 8 people that are walk-ins one night, then you split them up evenly amongst those coaches. So everybody gets a turn, and everybody gets an opportunity to get those coaches, or customers, excuse me. As far as the presentation goes, obviously you want to welcome everyone. You want to be friendly. Beachbody has gone to great ends as far as getting us branded gear, logo that we can wear, P90X hats, Insanity shirts. Wear that stuff because it is popular and people recognize it. It's anytime I'm traveling, whether I'm driving, flying, I'm wearing a P90X shirt, I'm wearing my Shakeology hat, and they're great conversation starters. It's the same way for Fit Club, so make sure that you do that. Obviously, workout. You do the workout. Now, here's what I recommend is that survey your crowd. Okay, if you have a group of 70-year-old grandmas that may not be in top shape, obviously you don't want to be popping Insanity in for their first trial run at this, okay? And you're going to get a variety of people. We had a lady last week that came into our Fit Club. She was, I host mine in a rec center, so they heard the excitement going on in the room. People were walking by looking, and they came in. Some wanted to try it, filled out the waiver, jumped right into the workout. Had a 68-year-old grandmother came in, and we were doing Mason's Choice cardio. And I kept reminding people, modify, take it at your own pace. She did a great job, and she was all sweaty at the end of it, and she said, I am going to get me some of that recovery formula, and she marched right over and got it. So everybody there had absolutely great time. Business briefings at your event. I personally am not doing this at this stage. I'm not doing a biz op. What I'm doing is I'm very much making this about fitness and about building relationships. And I think it's important that you do this early on. If you want to have a business opportunity after your workout, you can say, there's a business opportunity with this. Those that are interested in staying are welcome to. I'm not doing that. What I am announcing is I recognize who the Beachbody coaches are that are present in the room. And I tell people, you know what? Those of us that raise our hands that are coaches, we actually get paid to help people get healthy and fit, and it's a business opportunity that you can take advantage of as well. And if that's something you're interested in, get a hold of the coach that referred you here tonight for more information. And that's all I'm saying about it now. As relationships build, it's going to be a natural progression that people are going to want to get involved in business. They're going to want to get the programs. So keep that in mind. I would recommend having some third-party tools on hand for retailing and or recruiting. And the biggest thing is have fun. I do a lot of my third-party stuff via the internet. I use the myfitnesspays.com website, which was created through Team Fit Revolution. It doesn't link back to anyone. It's got the Decide, it's got the business opportunity presentation that Brett Blake did a wonderful job. I also keep DVDs in my car when I'm not able to get to the computer. So these are just different options to keep in mind. Again, I said there's no set way that you have to do this. But definitely make it about the fitness, definitely make it about the fun, and definitely focus on building friendships and building relationships. The fortune is in the follow-up, like the game plan says. You can create new accounts for your Fit Club members. You can have them get signed up as free players and tell them, again, and this isn't something that I would necessarily talk to people about on the first night. You certainly could. Approach it the way you're comfortable approaching it. What I want to do is I want to build interest first. And then, mention, you can actually win money by logging these workouts and then coming in and doing the workouts. So, as the relationship builds, mention these things. You create these accounts, and what you do, sign them up as free players through your own system. Make sure that you're completely logged out of your computer. Go to your coach site, like mine is beachbodycoach.com/Mark Briggs. Sign them up as a free player because they're assigned as your customer. So then you can create a generic password for them, or sit down with them and walk them through, let them do the whole sign up process. And that way when they make a purchase, you don't have to worry about it going to the wrong person or them going to beachbody.com, because they're going to log in. It'll take them right to your web store, so there's no mistakes that are made there. Follow up and take them on a tour of Wowie through the web store. Show them the ins and outs of what the business is about, what the back office looks like. Answer questions and close. It's important to follow up, and that's why when you're having those sign-in sheets, what I suggest you have on there is you have people collect their phone number and their email address. And it's not like you're being a pushy salesman when you contact them. It's just a short email that you can send people that says, it was great seeing you at our Fit Club. I'm looking forward to seeing you next week. If you need anything, here's my contact information. It's really, really that simple. And then lastly is be consistent. You have to stick with this week after week. The more you do it, the more the word is going to get out. I think we had, for our first one here in East Central Illinois last week, we had 26 people show up, which is pretty good for starting out of the gate. And everybody that I talked to afterwards said that they were going to come back and they were going to bring some friends. I've also been out, keep throwing that blast out through Facebook. Tell people about what you're doing. Remind people, because people will forget. You also keep passing those cards out. I had mentioned the business cards that I got to the team of coaches that wanted to join with me. I gave them a handful of cards, said, this is what we're going to use. Go get your own cards printed up. So you're not responsible for providing everything. I think you should come up with a theme together. One person should probably spearhead it, and then you decide the direction you're going to go. But imagine how this potential grows, okay? I've already had one coach that signed after the first time coming in. Imagine as now they're going to go out to the community of their friends and they're going to pass their cards out and they're going to be putting flyers up all over town. It spreads like wildfire. I fully anticipate our numbers will quadruple within a month, and we'll be in a bigger venue. And that's what you ultimately want. But you want people to come back week after week, get involved, build relationships, and this is the way to grow the business. This is really, you're getting into your own community, and as Larry Zimberg would say, build locally and think globally. So that's pretty much it as far as the presentation goes. I am going to open up the control panel. You'll see in your control panel there is a section where you can ask questions. If you have a question about anything that I covered, and there's already some questions in here, I will open them up and I'll go through them. And as always with our Team Fit Revolution webinars, you can ask a question about Fit Club, you can ask a question about your business, you can ask a question about fitness, anything Beachbody. Feel free to throw your question out there. Can I please get a copy of the liability appearance waiver? If you shoot an email to leadership at teamfitrevolution.com, I will get those sent out to you. That's again leadership at teamfitrevolution.com. Lauren asks, is there a general liability waiver that you use? Where can I get one? I have them, and I will gladly send them out to you. Apparently the liability waiver is a big question. Also, I send an email following this week's new coach webinar requesting your welcome coach and customer letter email. No response. I know you're busy. Kathy, I will get that out to you, and my apologies. I typically receive between 300 and 500 emails a day, and it takes me some time to get through those. So I will mark that as a priority on my sheet right now, and I will go through and find your email and make sure you get a copy of those. Do you change the workout each week or stick with the same one so that people get comfortable with the moves? I change it each week, Bridget. Like I said, it was a one-on-one workout. This week it might be Slim and 6. When you select a workout, go through your library and select a workout that does not require equipment. Okay? You want something that's going to be cardio based or body weight. I don't recommend starting off with Insanity until you kind of get a real feel for your regular group that's in there. And that may be something that you build to, but you don't want people coming in and getting blown away with something that they're not able to do. I look ridiculous when I do Turbo Gym, but I still have fun doing it, and that's something that I can do. And again, the only thing that I'm doing during the workout is I'm repeating. Modify if you need to, take breaks when you need to, and let that waver at the beginning. When you pop that DVD in, let that waver at the beginning. You notice in the beginning of all of the Beachbody workouts, there's a warning. Let that warning play through, because that's just a second layer of protection. Some people I know carry liability insurance in addition. If you're concerned about it, I would say to consult with an attorney. You're playing videos. You have a liability waiver that people are signing. That it's actually a really good waiver too. And could you still be sued? Yes. Even if you're carrying $2 million worth of insurance, you could be sued. But that doesn't mean you're going to be successfully sued. So hopefully we never run into those. It's certainly a possibility though. So. Where do you post the flyers? Well, I went to Walmart. I went to a variety of different health food stores. I went to the local fire departments, the police department. By the way, you get the cops and the firemen competing against each other. It's kind of fun. Even the firehouses, you get them competing. I went to one today, and we have 6 fire stations in Champaign. And I went in and talked to the guys, and I brought them a flyer and some of the cards to pass out to the guys. And a lot of the firemen and the cops in my area are already doing P90X. And I said, you guys ought to come down on Wednesday and try this out. Station 1 said that they're coming down. So I'm kind of building the little firehouse competition myself there. But yeah, I post them anywhere and everywhere. Anything that's open to the public where people would see it. Everybody needs fitness. That's what's great about Team Beachbody is everybody needs fitness and everybody needs nutrition. So any place that people can see it, that it'll get them out, post them up. Jen asked, do you charge for Fit Club? No, you absolutely do not charge for Fit Club. Fit Club is free. The cost associated should be split amongst the coaches that are hosting Fit Club. And again, if cost is an issue and you're on your own starting this thing out of the gate, look for the cheapest place that you can find. Get out to the churches. The churches are, from what I've seen, the churches are very, very open to starting a community health improvement. And from what I've seen, oftentimes will give you their areas for free. So that would be my suggestion there. Eric asks, what is your advice about doing fit clubs in a for-profit gym? Example, Gold's Gym is asking me to start a Beachbody fit club locally. You can't charge for fit club. Bottom line, you cannot charge. Now, I'm in a rec center, and the rec center asked me if it would be all right if they had some advertising in the room for memberships there, and that's absolutely okay. As long as you're not charging people admission to come through the door and do a Beachbody workout, you're fine. What time of day do you do your fit club? Tara, that is a great question. I'm glad that you asked that. You want to pick a time of day where you think you'll have the most turnout. You want to pick a day and time. For me, it's Wednesday night from 7 o'clock to 8 o'clock, because by 7 o'clock most people are home from work, they've already had dinner, and they can go about their evening and they can take an hour out to come work out. So that's something that you'll want to put a little bit of thought into. I had thought about doing an 8 to 9. The rec center where I am closes at 9, so it would have been kind of a rush to get everybody out the door by the time we were done. And by doing it 7 to 8, if people have questions, I can hang out, and I'm not going to have the staff there giving me angry looks because they want to shut the place down. So that'll depend on your venue, and typically I think either 7 or 8 is probably a good time for people. Later than that I don't think would be good, and earlier than that I think you're going to run into people getting off work and the dinner time rush. How did you decide on your location, day, and time? For me, I wanted a place that was going to be easy for people to get to without having to go way out of their way. The place that I'm holding mine is about 4 miles from my house, so it's a convenient location. I'm actually in a small city called Tolono. It's a whopping 2,800 people, but I have the city of Champaign that has about 130,000 people 8 miles north. So I went in both cities. I posted flyers locally and everywhere in between to draw people in, and that was what helped me pick my location. If you get people that are interested in exercise, and what I've been surprised by is people are really blown away by the fact that they can go someplace and they can do a workout for free, because even you go to a gym for a day pass, they charge you 12 or 14 or $20 to go in and work out at a gym for a day. So to be able to do something with the name branding, because I'm telling you right now, everybody has heard of P90X. In fact, getting back to my business cards for 1 second, the Fit Club cards, I said it's double-sided. It's got our East Central Illinois Fit Club on one side. On the other side, it has the P90X and Insanity branding. It says, from the makers of P90X and Insanity, you're invited, and then you flip the card over and it's got the information on there. So make use of that branding if you decide to do that. You can get the cards made up relatively inexpensively as well, but again, those are a good thing to have, and it has your location on there. So people, if you're putting a card in somebody's hand and they say, well, where was that workout? Oh, well, it's right here on this card. So it's simple. Dan asks, when do you have your fit club, and could someone come and visit from out of state to check it out? I have my fit club every Wednesday night. It is at the Savoy Rec Center in Savoy, Illinois, and you can email me or Facebook me for that information, and you are more than welcome to come out and check it out. Anyone is welcome, and it's free. You can't beat free. Everybody likes free stuff. At least I do. John said, would you consider hosting a Shakeology tasting before or after workout? Yep, absolutely. My intent is, again, once I start building those relationships, I'm going to start introducing more of the products. Personally, I don't want to come off as a salesman, and different people will argue different strategies with you. And you need to do what you're comfortable doing. I'm going to say that up front, okay? If somebody invites me to come to a workout and I go to the thing, like I got suckered into a candle party one time, all right? And it was one of those things where my friend's like, hey, I'm having a party, you want to come over? And I walked in and I sat down and it was a candle party. To me, that completely switched me off. Now, I did end up buying some candles because they're my friends, but you don't want to approach it that way. Make it about the fitness, and as people become more involved in their fitness, the natural progression is going to be they want to know more. When it comes to Shakeology, the 3-day cleanse that Mike Karpenko came up with is absolutely an invaluable tool, and I'll tell you why. Because it's 9 packets of Shakeology. If you give somebody a single packet of Shakeology, they'll taste it and they'll say, oh yeah, that's great. But you know what? You have to feel what Shakeology does. Typical weight loss is 5 to 9 pounds with this 3-day cleanse. So people are experiencing what Shakeology, that first of all, that it tastes good, secondly, that it works, and then they're coming back and saying, okay, how do I get this stuff? I want to take this all the time. And that's when you say, well, you can buy it from my site. It's $120 retail, about $5.50, $6 per serving. Or if you want to sign up as a coach, you can get it for $90 a month. And in addition to that, you'll get a discount on all these workout programs and supplements. So they've already been doing the workouts, and then they're like, wow, you're kidding me, you can get that for wholesale? So it's a natural progression. But that's something, personally, my comfort zone, the way I want to do this, I'm going to introduce that kind of slowly. I don't want to blast people and make them feel like they're being sold something, because nobody wants to feel like they're being sold. That's my swing. That's all I've got to say about that. Steven says, thank you, Mark, and thanks again for your service. I'd like to see if people have suggestions for my Sergeant Steve themed fit club. What are some good names? Sergeant Steve Fit Camp, Sergeant Steve Team Discipline. All right, Steve's looking for feedback. Type some in, see what you think. Steve is a military recruiter, and he's going to start a fit club. So I think he should wear fatigues and a drill instructor hat, but we'll get to that. We'll get some feedback from the crowd that's on here and see what we say. Christina asked, do you just play the DVD and do it with them? That's it. That is it. Now, I'm a personal trainer. I'm also a group fitness instructor. So when I travel, a lot of times I will run workouts myself. If you are not a group fitness instructor or you're not a personal trainer, I don't recommend doing this, because that really will open you personally up for liability. If you take a DVD and you put it in a projector and you push play, it's just like doing it at home. And people see that, and people see these workouts, because that's really what you want them to experience, is the DVD workout itself, because they try it and they say, hey, I can do this. I like this. This is fun. This music is good. I'm enjoying this. So that's the way you want to do it. You want to run the DVDs. And if you get a hardcore group, down the road that develops and things take off from there, then, cool. I've got some people that are from my fit club that are coming to my house tomorrow morning to work out, and they're going to get one of my little own special core cardio workouts in my gym at the house. But that's what, as relationships build, who knows where things go. So it'll be fun. Paul asked, do you charge the participants anything? I charge them absolutely nothing but their effort, energy, and time. And that's the way it's supposed to be. That's the way it works. Bob says, one of my coaches found a website linked to a Shakeology website which sells individual packets. Is this legal to do? If they are a Beachbody coach and they are selling individual packets, as long as they are not selling it for less than retail cost, yes, they can do that. As can any of us. We just can't sell. You can break up the packets into single serving sizes, as long as you're not selling it for less than the retail cost. That's like doing the Shakeology cleanse, that 3-day cleanse I mentioned. It's 9 packets, and you get a printout that tells you exactly what to eat for 3 days. $60 a pop, and so you're doing things the way you're supposed to be doing. Tim asks, hey Mark, how far off of I-90 are you? If you're talking about I-90 up by Chicago, I'm about 2.5 hours south. If you look on your map and find Interstate 74 that goes from Indianapolis to Champaign, you'll find me there. Sandy asks, is this recorded? I just got off work and missed the beginning. Sandy, it is being recorded, and as soon as I get done with the Q&A portion, I'm going to edit the video that's being recorded. I will send that to Blake Warrington, and he should have it uploaded on the Team Fit Revolution website next week. Bill asks, does that liability cover if we do it at home? It should, I would think. And again, I was a police officer for 14 years, and I can tell you that people can sue you for absolutely anything. All right? So it's not something that's going to guarantee you won't be sued. You will likely not be successfully sued. That I can tell you. You can take this waiver too, take it into your attorney, have them review it, see if they'd add anything, see if they would make any recommendations, because every state is a little bit different. But typically, if you're doing a workout at home or you're doing a fit club at home, if somebody ends up injured, they could come after your homeowner's policy. But again, the waiver that I have kind of kind of covers that. It basically says that they're not going to sue you, and pretty much if they do, they're going to pay for your legal fees to cover you. So, yeah. Molly asks, can you run a fit club outside without the DVDs? I am having trouble finding an indoor location. Molly, you could do that, but you're going to run into the liability issue if you're not a personal trainer. The other thing is you want people to be sampling the workouts, the actual workouts, because that's what they're going to end up doing is the DVD workouts. Jim asks, can you take us through how you would approach a location for permission to do a club? Yeah, you can. You just all I did was walk into the front desk of this rec center. I said, "Hey, my name's Mark Briggs. I'm an independent coach for Team Beachbody, and I'm interested in renting a space where I could run a group workout once a week for an hour. Is that something you guys would do?" It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be a gym. You can rent a conference room someplace. You could rent. Most of your Holiday Inns will have business meeting rooms, and you could go there. Churches. You'd be surprised. There's a lot of places that are very, very open to it. Made a brief motion of the diamond pack in the beginning. Have you incorporated that into your briefings or just as an exposure to potential customers? That is in the business briefing that is online, and it's really broken down. I bought it because I already had most of the programs, and I'm already on Shakeology, and I was already on the supplements in there. But for buying that for $599, the retail value, if you part that out, is about $1,300. So I had a couple of my new friends over last night, and I wanted to show them what the diamond pack looked like because they had asked about it. They had seen the presentation, and when I opened up the box, they were like, "Wow, that does come with a lot of stuff." So I think it's great if you're going to be doing live presentations. It's certainly a great prop to have. But then again, we have the presentation that you can download for either PowerPoint or Keynote. If the script is not out for that yet, it will be coming, and that highlights what comes with the diamond pack as well. So you don't necessarily need to physically have one there, but it's loaded with stuff, as you know. So Lauren asked, does your rec center charge you to use the center? Yes, I am paying $60 an hour to use the center. So to rent it from June through August, it cost me $840, and that cost is divided amongst the coaches that said, yeah, we want to do Fit Club with you. So that's why I said you want to first find a venue, do a little venue shopping, find out what it's going to cost you, then do a call to action. And like I said, YouTube, Facebook is great. I sat in front of my Mac, I shot about a 90-second ad that just said, this is a call to action. I'm calling on coaches in the Champaign, Illinois area. I'm starting a fit club. If you're interested in joining up with me, I don't care what your upline, downline is. We're going to blow up this area, and we're going to grow our businesses together. If this is something you're interested in, send me an email. And I gave it a week. I got a whole team of people together that said, yeah, we want to do it. I had a plan already lined out with the business cards and the brochures, and how it was going to work. And then we had a conference call. I laid all that out. Everybody was in agreement to what we were going to do, and then from there it was just giddy up, let's hit it. And we're having a blast. Mal says, hey Mark, would you recommend picking up the sampler DVDs for those who can't get the diamond pack? The sampler DVDs, I'm not sure what the sampler DVDs are. If you can explain that to me a little bit more. Maybe it's something I'm not familiar with. Bill asked, does Slim and Six seem like a good workout to cover most people? That depends. It really depends on the the level of fitness of your group. If you've got a bunch of athletes that are in there, then probably not. If you've got a bunch of real macho men, probably not until they try it. Because I thought it was going to be a girly workout, and I curled up in the fetal position and cried and sucked my thumb for about the first week. So yeah, it's a great workout, but I wouldn't limit it to just one workout. And if you're going to do, I would probably tell people, if they want to do the band work, then they can invest in a set of bands. Let them know that we sell them. They can buy them through us if they want to buy them. Don't make people feel like they have to buy a Beachbody. I mean, they can go to Walmart, they can go to Target, they can go wherever and get their bands. My thing is I want to get them in there working out. They can go through the motion just using isometric tension, and you can kind of explain to people how you can flex the muscle through the range of motion as if you're lifting a weight when it comes to that part. But sure, that's a workout that I will be doing on at least one of my clubs. I'll be going through Slim and Six. Again, I'm going to go through all of them, just because we have all of them. Just be very careful on the ones that are super intense, because you don't want to scare people off, and you definitely don't want people pushing too hard and hurting themselves. Kevin asks, will there be a rebroadcast of this meeting? Kevin, it's been recorded, and it will be posted on the Team Fit Revolution website later this week. Patty says, I'm a new coach without any downline coaches. Do you think starting on my own is still okay? Thinking of having a workout at home and basement because I have the space. What do you think? I think if you want to do that, that's fine. I think if you get on Facebook and do a call to action and say, hey, I'm a new coach, I want to start a fit club, who's in the area, you'll be surprised who comes out of the woodwork too. So absolutely, don't let the fact that you're new to this deter you. This is something, and this is why I love Fit Club, because it's something that a day one person could do. You're taking a DVD and you're pushing play and you're getting people motivated and getting them up and moving, and that's what it's all about, is just getting people interested in doing something, getting up and moving. So great, and welcome to the Beachbody family, Patty. Glad to have you. Vicky says, can you share the flyer you use? Sure. Send an email to leadership@teamfitrevolution.com, and I will send you a copy of my flyer. I had never used the program before, and I think it took me 10 minutes to put it all together. So I used a template that was in Microsoft Office, so it was really simple. And that says, are you insured? If so, who's your insurer? I am not personally insured. I don't carry liability insurance. I should, but I'm not at this point. From talking to Monica Ward, I think it costs her about $700 a year for a $2 million policy, because she is not a personal trainer. She just carries that. Her husband Dave was an attorney, and he was kind of insistent. So, not a bad idea. Tom says, so it's as simple to pop in the DVD and follow along. I visioned you leading the troops, and thus never thought it was for me. No, absolutely, it's for everybody, Tom. And like I said, when I travel, I do my own thing. I host group workouts. I have gyms that hire me on to come in and run a P90X-esque sort of workout, and that's, it's good to shake it up. I usually do more intense things than what you find in P90X, but I've kind of got a group that likes that sort of thing. So nope, anybody can do Fit Club. That's why it's awesome, and it's a great way to build your business, and great way to build your list of friends. Jeff says, do you have a sample of flyers? Yep. Again, shoot an email to leadership@teamfitrevolution.com. I'll send that out to you. Jillian says, what if you don't have a solid team of local coaches yet? What if you're just starting to build your business, so there's minimal support? Well, then you want to obviously go the cheapest route that you can go. Try your best to find a free venue. Really focus on the churches. And again, even if you only have 4 or 5 people that are doing your Fit Club in a church, so what? That's 4 or 5 people that you didn't have before, and you're building bonds with people, and you never know who they know and who they introduce, and I'm telling you, it'll catch on. So don't sweat that. You can bring a TV with you or DVD player. Um, I had bought a projector and then later found out that the rec center where I'm renting my space would have provided me with one. So at least I have one now. I guess I can have movie night on my garage door for the neighborhood kids or something this summer. Um, Sean says, I came in late, but do you provide samples of protein bars as well? You could if you wanted to. You know, you can provide samples of anything. Again, I wouldn't recommend charging unless you're going to have people start doing the cleanser fast, you know. And that's the good thing when you get a team of coaches together, you can split up that cost. One person does a recovery week, formula 1 week, one does it another week. Um, and people really like that. I think we had 4 or 5 people uh, after Fit Club last week that bought recovery formula from different coaches. So it really went over big. And it says we do request people bring a healthy dish. Coaches, that is also very successful. Cool. That's see, the only problem I'd have with that, and that is I'd do the workout and then I'd sit and eat for the next hour and I'd get in trouble and I'd have to do another workout. Faith says if you saw the great video of Sean T, he went to the military and worked with them. If you were near a post, that sounds great. Yep, and that was actually last year that he did that. And it was very well received. And for those that don't know, Tony Horton is huge in supporting the military. And he actually about a month ago went on a 12-day tour all over the place in the U.S. with the military. So led workouts every place he went, and it's big. You know, the military is huge on using it. I've had several invitations from different bases to come do workouts for them too, and you know that's something that I love to do as well. Good point. If you retail products, should you charge tax or just keep prices in line with what's in the online store? That's a good question, Byron. I'm going to defer that one to compliance at teambeachbody.com and ask them what they would suggest. Because you know Beachbody's having to charge us tax now by state, and that's a relatively new thing that started. So I would shoot them an email and see what they recommend, because you definitely don't want to get in trouble with the IRS. Paul asks, what is the average number of people you have attending each week, and how big is the facility needed? That depends, Paul. You know, I've seen fit clubs start where they've had 3 people. I did my first one locally last Wednesday, and I had 26. I fully anticipate at least double that amount next week. So it just depends. You know, you get the word out and you get the excitement going, especially if you have more coaches in your area. And that's why I said don't feel like this is an upline, downline, strictly within one team. Everybody pool together because it's going to benefit everybody. I don't care what cross line, if upline, downline, doesn't matter. Do that call to action video to get the word out that what you're wanting to start, and you'll be surprised. There's a lot of coaches out there. There's really you'll be very surprised. Lauren says, have you found many people who actually buy some of the programs from being in? Yeah. Do you find many people that buy the programs from being in Fit Club? Yes, absolutely, no question about it. People do buy the programs because you're doing Fit Club once a week and you're doing samples. You know, now there's groups too out there that are doing strictly like a P90X Fit Club or an Insanity Fit Club. But when you do that, you need to understand that you're limiting your window of customers that you're going to get in there. If you open it up and you're doing different stuff every week, now as your base grows, it may grow to the point where you have enough demand and people want to do P90X. They want to start a group where you're doing P90X. So you start a second night that's just P90X. But starting out, you want to have that whole variety because you want to appeal to as broad of a group as possible, so you get more and more people each week. Harold, great to hear from you, brother. Would you consider different sessions, beginner and advanced, to show the full range of products? I would, but again, if you, you know, if it's kind of like when I lead group workouts in person, I never know who's going to show up to a workout. So if I look out across this sea of people and I'm seeing people, and a majority of those people are, say, 50 to 60 pounds overweight, I'm not going to run an advanced workout because people are going to get hurt and people are not going to come back and they're going to be disenchanted because they can't do it. So obviously you want to have an appeal there for everybody that's in attendance. So, you're going to have to shift and maybe go middle of the road with some of the stuff. Faith says, have you done any park workouts when the weather is okay? Is there any issues you've come up with doing it in a park? Nope. You can do that again. Unless you are a personal trainer or a group fitness instructor, you're opening yourself up to great liability running them yourself. That's all I'm going to say on that. It's a great way to get people active and involved, and they're very, very popular. The outdoor boot camps, especially in the summertime, it draws a crowd. But remember, the focus for your Team Beachbody Fit Club is Beachbody workouts. So, not to say that you couldn't start your own fit club, do your own thing, and work your Beachbody business on the side. Nothing wrong with that. I'm all about variety. I'm all about getting people up moving. I don't care if they're walking or running or rope climbing or on a gazelle with Tony Little. It doesn't matter. What's important is that people are getting up and moving their butts and breaking this trend of obesity. Do you have a sample of the business card and flyer? I do have a sample of the flyer that is loaded on the computer. I do not have a sample of the business card loaded, but I got a new scanner, and when I figure out how to use it, I can probably double side scan that and then email that as well. So again, any requests for flyers, liability waivers, that type of stuff, please send it to leadership@teamfitrevolution.com. and I'll get them sent out to you. Kevin asks, are there any items that you give people who come to the Fit Club for advertising? For advertising, not so much. I will give people flyers, like if they have a break room at work and they think that people that they're working with might be interested, I'll give them some flyers to post. I reserve giving out the cards for coaches because it has referrals on there. But I think flyers would be appropriate. My intention before the end of the summer, I'm actually going to have East Central Illinois Fit Club shirts made, and we'll have a variety of different things on there to just kind of draw attention, and that'll be something that I'll reserve for the regular group starting. Those are probably something that I will sell, just because there is a cost involved in creating those, and it's kind of a commitment. It's like joining a summer sports team, so that will be good advertising though. Ramal says, if I email you, can I get a sample of the card? I don't have one on the computer just yet, but like I said, when I figure out how to get my scanner to load that on the computer, that's certainly something I'd be happy to share with all of you. Can you post your card? Yeah, you know what, Bill, once I get it scanned, I could probably put a picture, or actually, I'll just take a picture of it and I'll post it on Facebook. How would that be? And then you guys can pull it off there. Facebook.com/Mark Briggs Fitness. If you're not already one of my friends, Facebook.com/Mark Briggs Fitness. And when I get off this call, that'll be the easiest way to do it. I'll just do a front and back picture and I'll post it in my mobile uploads. So, good call, Bill. Making my brain work. Dan says, I'm a fairly new coach. Should I wait till I build up a coach base? You certainly don't have to, Dan. And again, welcome to the business. This is a business, and this is the cool thing about this business, is you can take the torch and run with it as fast as you want to. If you would rather build up a coach base, cool. But again, I recommend just doing a short video on Facebook and or YouTube. Say, hey, I'm a coach in the area. This is where I live. This is where I'm wanting to start a fit club. I'm looking for coaches to join me in the effort. And you'll really be surprised how many people respond. Shannon says, can you post a picture of the Fit Club cards? Yep, sure will. Faye says, I know Shakeology is great, but do you offer recovery samples? Um, I do. After Fit Club, I offer recovery formula. I actually bring a blender, um, and again, I brought the recovery formula this past week. Another one of the coaches brought the ice, but we'll have recovery formula every week, and I think it's a great thing, and people love it. And like I said, either 5 or 6 people that were at Fit Club bought it from different coaches that were at Fit Club last week, so it went over big. Lori said you said it should be free, but I see coaches on Facebook advertising workouts with a charge of $2 or $10 normally, and they say the charge is for rent of high school gym, so I'm confused. Should be free or not? It should be free. I would check policies and procedures. I would also contact um, compliance. If it's specifically a Fit Club workout, I would definitely check with compliance on that. Um, yeah, I'll look into that one further. My understanding was that you cannot charge people to come in for Fit Club. If you're doing a group workout, um, I do a variety of group workouts. I did one a couple weeks ago up in Iowa, and we charged um, for that, but that was to defer the cost because there was a cookout afterwards. So um, that's definitely one for compliance that I'm going to follow up on and get you an answer for that. And Kathy says, I'm on day 3 of the Shakeology cleanse and loving it. Good. Kathy, when you get a chance, type me in. Let me know how it's going. Have you stepped on the scale, or are you waiting until you're done to see what the final end is? Oh, Sergeant Steve, we got one for you. Steve's Fit Factory. That's from Francis Mensa. I got to give Francis a shout out because I like that one. That's got a nice ring to it. Tammy Rutledge says, oh, darn it, Sergeant Steve's Boot Camp, I think it was. I hit the wrong button. Now I can't find it. David Kaiser says, Steve's team name should be America's Finest. Oh, that's nice too. Now you're going to have to do a refined poll, Steve. You realize this to get it down into the right one. Christina says, I am a group fitness instructor, so sweet. Thank you. You are welcome. Thank you, Christina. Shannon says, been looking for a PDF on the Shakeology cleanse in the back office. Is there a printable version of it? I got one from Karpenko, Shannon, so if you want to just shoot me an email, I'll send it over to you. I know I have Tim's email address. I'm not sure if I have yours, though. So, and my memory is poor sometimes, so shoot me an email and I'll get it over to you. Ted says, bring before and after pics of yourself. Yes, we are definitely our own best advertising in this. All of us strive to be walking billboards, so Ted, that's great advice. Thank you, brother. Bill says, so you try to pick a workout without weights or a pull-up bar? Yes, absolutely without weights, because everybody's not going to have weights. And again, that may eventually spin off into, there may be enough interest in something that people want to do a specific workout. They may want to do a P90X workout. So when that develops, that'll be the time that you consider doing a second night and you're just doing P90X. So but yeah, I try to keep the workouts equipment free so people don't have to have any kind of a financial investment in it. Dan said, you said you recommend people be fitness trainers to do this? No, I do not. What I recommend is if you're going to run your own workout, in other words, not plugging the DVD in, if you're going to get up and lead a workout where you're showing the moves and you're demonstrating the moves, I suggest that you should probably be a trainer to do that because you're opening yourself up for liability if you show somebody wrong and they get hurt, even with the waiver. I'd be very, very cautious of doing that. Some states require you actually be a certified personal trainer or a certified group workout instructor, so you'll definitely want to check into that for your state. But when it comes to the DVDs, anybody can do that. You just plug in the DVD and you let the DVD play. Okay? Sorry if I was confusing on that. And how do you become a fitness trainer? You go through a personal trainer course or a group fitness instructor course, and then you get your little diploma. Mike says, I just got to know, how often do you run P90X Plus DVDs? I haven't run one yet, Mike. It's kind of weird. um, I'm to the point where I can kick my on-screen butt on a regular basis now. So I don't know. I'm not one of those hey look at me kind of guys with that kind of stuff. So if there's a demand and people ask for it, that's another thing I think you'll find is people as they become regulars in your group, they'll have favorites that they'll like. So last week, for example, I said, is there a specific workout anybody wants to try? And somebody blurted out, let's do Mason's Choice. So I said, okay, Mason's Choice. So, and that just gets people involved in it too, because they'll develop ones they like. Judy said, I asked Coach Relations about the individual packets, and they said that we would have to sell it for $5 each. Okay, there you go. Because that would be the retail cost of it. You can't sell it for less than $5. Faith says, wouldn't they do better giving samples a package instead of selling a pack of Shakeology? Well, here's the problem. Shakeology is expensive. And if you give somebody one packet of Shakeology, it's not something that they'll taste it and they'll say, okay, that tastes good. Really, you need to do Shakeology. If you're not doing a 3-day fast where you're doing it 3 times a day, you need to be doing Shakeology for 5 to 7 days before you physically will feel a difference with it. With the recovery formula, yeah, you can absolutely do single serving packets of that because it tastes great and people like the way it tastes. But Shakeology is one of those things you really need to feel and experience, in my opinion. So it's important. Bryce says, Steve, I run 8 boot camps myself, and I can tell you that the military-esque workout is out of style. It will attract a few, but turn off most. Show them that you can be tough and fun. Don't go with the Sergeant Steve thing unless you're a drill sergeant and know that way already. Remember, we're trying to attract those that aren't already beating themselves up with fitness. It's a good point, Bryce. Good point. I am one of those sick weirdos, however, that likes people to yell at me and try and smoke me because you can't smoke a rock, as they say. Lauren says, I am in Cincinnati. Are you aware of any fit clubs in Cincinnati? I am not. But again, if you go to meetup.com or get on Facebook and put a shout out there, I bet you'll find people that are. Actually, Tommy Migrant might be in Cincinnati. I'm not sure. He had posted something on his Facebook that Denise Needham had come out his way, and they had 80 plus people show up for the workout, so it was a pretty good turnout. Where do we find the instructions for Mike's cleanse? I can't pull it up on the screen right now. It is in the coach back office. And if you need those, I have that on my computer. I can send you the PDF that Mike sent me. So just shoot any requests for any of this stuff, aside from the business card, because I'm going to take a picture of that and post that on my Facebook for you. It'll be leadership@teamfitrevolution.com, and I'll get you those documents you're looking for. And please be patient if it takes me a couple days, but I'll do my best to get them out as quickly as I can. Krista says, do they have to fill out the waiver each time? That's a good question. Different states vary. Personally, once I have somebody sign a waiver and I have it on file, I make a list of names. I keep a list of names from people that I already have waivers for, so they don't have to duplicate them. It wouldn't hurt to do them every time, but I think it's redundant once they've signed one. I've also added to mine where if their person is under 18, it has to be signed by their parent or legal guardian. Good question. Faith says, do you find there is any one DVD workout that works for most people since you never know who will show up? Nope. There's not just, and that's what's great about fitness, and that's why we have a variety of workout programs, because everybody's got a little bit of different flavor. I tried Yoga Booty Ballet. Wasn't for me. I tried Brazil Butt Lift. Wasn't for me. I love Turbo Jam. I love Turbo Fire. I love Insanity. I love P90X. I love Slim and Six. I love the Slim series. But there's programs we sell that just aren't my niche, and they're not for everybody. So that's why you wanna put on a variety of what we have, because it'll draw a bigger crowd. Donnie says, do you think becoming a personal trainer is a recommended avenue to give a Beachbody coach more credibility? Donnie, no, I don't. I'm a trainer. I'm a group fitness instructor. I did it to help my coaching, not necessarily to lend credibility to what I'm doing. I don't believe you need a piece of paper in your hand that says you know what you're doing. It's kind of like having to have a marriage license to say that you love somebody. You can obviously be committed to somebody without having a piece of paper that says you're committed to somebody. And I think it's the same way. People are very receptive to your heart, and you show people that you care and you genuinely care and you're there and you show up and you take interest in them, then they're going to respond to that. Michelle says community centers are normally pretty cheap. Good point. Thank you. James says, Mark, I have a workout group at church for elders with Tony and the folks. Haven't got a lot of turnout for the immediate class following. Any suggestions to get better response? You might offer more variety. And again, I don't know how old the group is. Start a group for younger people in the church. And again, this is another thing, James, that I've noticed is some churches tend to have a very older crowd. Other churches have a more 30 to 40 median age group, and I wouldn't cater specifically to just one group. You may need to break it into different groups, but you might, depending on how they are, you might look at doing Power 90 maybe, with modifications. It really just depends on how old they are and what their lifestyle has been. I've seen some 70-year-olds that are in better shape than 40-year-olds. I've seen some 70-year-olds that seem like they were 170. So unfortunately, there's no cut and dry answer there, but variety is the spice of fitness, as Tony says. Robert says, where in Massachusetts is your team doing them? They are in Auburn, which is about 50 miles west of Boston. If you get a hold of Bob Hansen, Laura Pesching, Keith Katsolis, actually, if you get a hold of me, I'll give you a list of people to get a hold of out there. That would probably be the easiest thing. And again, you can shoot me an email through leadership@teamfitrevolution.com, or you can hit me up on Facebook, facebook.com/Mark Briggs Fitness. Stacy said, I'm sorry, did you answer this? I was on the phone with a new customer. And I'm not sure because the question doesn't appear now. Susan Lucy, another Massachusetts person. Good places to try are rec rooms at condos as well, dance studios. It's good advertising it's my new mouth. I got it for Christmas. I'm still not used to it. Dance studios, it's good advertising for them as well to get people in there. There you go. Good advice as always, Susan. Hey, Susan, Walmart. Susan always gives me a hard time because I always have some kind of a Walmart story in my presentations. I gave out some cards actually today at Walmart too. There, now it's legit. Mike says, how do you divvy up the new customers or coaches between the coaches that are putting on the Fit Club? Everybody gets one as they come in. If you don't get enough, then we're a team, so it's not like a cutthroat island environment. And it personally, I would give a customer to one of my coaches if they didn't get one. That's just me. But I have a bunch of coaches on my group that are the exact same way. So as long as the person's being served, that's what it's all about, and you can work out the logistics. It'll all wash out in the end. Ramal says, in the Beachbody shop where you can buy cards, there are 2 DVDs with one workout from each workout program. Oh, okay. I wasn't aware of that, so that's kind of cool. Yeah, I guess that would apply then. I'll have to check that out. I didn't know that. Probably because I just buy the programs as they come out, whether it's one that I'm going to do or not. I buy them and try them, and some of them sit on the shelf, and some of them I use every day. But I build up the library just so I have them. Donnie says, how do you share the information about starting a fit club? I've been trying to find and contact coaches in my area, but I'm getting absolutely no response. I'm trying to connect on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, and the Beachbody website. Donnie, I don't know what to tell you. I had great response through Facebook, and if it came down to me running it by myself, I would have run it by myself. That's a decision obviously you've got to make, but I think once you get the word out there, I know it'll grow like wildfire. Susan said, do you do different workout every week at your fit club? Yes, we'll do a different trainer each week. Leanne says, is it okay to advertise through radio and newspaper? Absolutely. Absolutely. In fact, we got a guy locally where I am that's doing P90X, and somehow the TV station found out that I was in the P90X Plus videos and a coach, and they actually called me and want me to come in and do some segments with them on the live news coming up in June. So part of the deal that I talked to them about, I said, hey, I run a fit club, and they said, absolutely, you can plug it, post web addresses, anything. So yeah, the more exposure you get, the better. Getting back to that other question too about getting the word out, meetup.com. I've heard a lot of good things about meetup.com as far as getting people that are interested in fitness organized to move and start those kind of things. So take a look at that. Patty says, is call to action on Facebook just an announcement on my page, or is it a special feature? It is simply you just upload a video. I have a Mac. All I needed to do was hit the record button, and I just sat in front of my Mac and I said, hey, this is Mark Briggs. I'm a 3-star diamond coach with Team Beachbody, and I am going to be starting a fit club in East Central Illinois, in the Champaign area. So if you're a coach anywhere near Champaign, Illinois, and you have an interest in joining a team, I don't care who your upline, downline is, we're going to do this together. It's going to be a great way for all of us to grow our businesses together. We're going to start this team. Nobody's in our area yet, and we're going to blow it up. Send me an email. And it was just great response, just an outpouring. I posted that on my page. You can tag your friends, like if you have friends that live around you that are on Facebook, tag them in it, post it, and send it out. Just blast it out to everybody. Also, if you tag like Carl Deichler or John Congdon, there's a lot of people that watch. So if there's somebody that you know, you can post that on my page too. Tag me in that, because I get a lot of traffic. So people all over the country, hit up the people that get a lot of traffic if you don't have a whole lot of friends on Facebook, and it's a great way to get the exposure there for you. Jeff says, my son's high school is now doing P90X for class. Should I not allow minors to join a fit club? No, I think it's fine that minors join a fit club. Just make sure that you have a waiver signed by their parent in the event that they get hurt, because you don't want it coming back on you. Also, depending on the age of the kids, my own personal opinion, I don't want kids under 14 years old lifting weights. And even that's pushing it. I prefer them to start at 15. I think Insanity is awesome for high school kids. And I'm not knocking Tony's stuff. If you're doing the body weight stuff that Tony's offering through P90X, that's great. But Insanity, as far as getting kids conditioned for sports, is just off the hook. I've seen some football teams this past year that used it preseason, and they just crushed everybody they went up against. So it's proof it works. Chadwick says, how much time do you spend answering questions about form or modifications during workout? I don't spend all that much, because you don't have to. The trainers are very good about talking about modifications. I may yell out, every workout there's a modifier. If you noticed, every Beachbody workout has somebody in it that's doing a modified version of the move. So I'll just yell out, watch this person, they're the modifier, and that's it. So you typically don't run into that. What you want to remember as a coach too, ladies and gentlemen, is that you don't want to subscribe or prescribe information beyond your scope. I'll get emails or questions sometimes about, I have a torn meniscus and what should I do for this? And I'm not a doctor, and I tell them, I defer them to their doctor. You need to see your doctor. The same thing if I get a legal question. Obviously, I had one pop up tonight that was asking about the cost involved. Contact compliance, because the last thing I want to do if I'm not positive of something is give you a wrong answer, and compliance will always have the answers for you. Bill says, what do you have as a floor in your fit club? Do you provide mats? I don't provide mats. It's a carpeted surface. If I was in, say, a basketball gym, I'm not going to do something where I'm having people get down on the floor for crunches or something like that. I would obviously have to keep it standing. I tend to favor cardio-based workouts, and the reason for that is people are not having to get on the floor. And it's one day a week. Fit Club for me is not my primary workout either. That's kind of a secondary thing. So if I wanted to walk around and cheer people on or stand next to somebody and do the move with them, you got to keep it fun. You got to keep it fun. That's what it's all about. Bob says, retail sales at event. I use a wireless laptop and they place their order and pay with a credit card online to Beachbody, but they ship it to me and then I hand them the product. Yeah, I think that nothing wrong with doing that, as long as they're not buying it for your price, and you're good to go. And it sounds like they're paying at retail, so good job. Steve says, should we build a Facebook page to centralize links to Fit Club paperwork video? That's a good idea, Steve. I know that you've got the technical knowledge to do that, whereas you know that I don't. So you put it together and I'll send you some stuff to throw on there. That's a great idea. Absolutely. I like it. I like where your head's at. Priya said, is there ever any confusion about which coach brought in which customer if they saw a flyer, for example? If they see a flyer and they're a walk-in, then they're a walk-in. I have the same flyer that everybody posts. It's not an individual, like each coach doesn't come up with their own flyer. I have one general flyer that everybody uses. Each coach has a business card that has their name on it. So if it's a flyer, it's a walk-in. If it's a business card, a Fit Club card, then it goes to the coach that referred them. So there's no confusion there. Bill said, do you start promptly at a certain time, and what do you do with people that are late? Yep, I respect people's time just as people need to respect my time. If I say my start time is at 7 o'clock, I'm pushing play straight up 7 o'clock. If they're late, then they sign in when they get in, and I'm always by the door. I stay by the door and monitor. Last week we had two of my coaches. One had a knee injury, unrelated, and one had a foot injury, unrelated. So they were able to not only sign in the stragglers that came in late, but they were also able to start the recovery formula and have it all poured out right at the end of the workout, so it was nice and icy and cold. Faye said, sorry, what do you mean you are doing samples? I thought maybe 1 week you might do Turbo Jam and the next Slim and 6 or P90X, depending on your crowd. Do you do a full workout each week of a different program? Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about sample packets of nutritional supplements. I do a full workout from a different program each week, from a different trainer each week. So if I do Tony Horton, I did Tony Horton last week. I may do Debbie Siebers this week, and I'll pick any program out of Debbie Siebers stuff. Again, my thing is I want to keep people standing. I don't want people having to crawl around on their knees, and because we have a carpeted floor, I will have people do some ab work too. But you have to be very cognizant of the surface. And again, as people build and you start getting regulars, you can start telling them, if you want to expand and try some different stuff, you can get some bands or you can, get a mat. But that's not something that we as coaches want to provide them with. Tony says, sorry if you've already covered this, but we have this webinar on the website. I just logged in. Yeah, Tony, I'm going to get it edited as soon as the call concludes tonight, and Blake should be able to get it uploaded to Team Fit Revolution early in the week. Hopefully early in the week, sometime next week. I shouldn't commit him to early. Christina says, do you have a link with video from one of your Fit Club sessions? Yeah, if you go to my my Facebook page, click on my videos, you'll see some of them in there. Faith said, thanks, I actually meant doing Beachbody workouts in the park. Do you really think you have to have that DVD playing? I know that people do the workouts by memory. You know, you can, Faith, but again, this is something that you want to build on duplication as well. Okay? And by that, everybody can't go out and do them that way. And if you can, that's great, but that's going to lock you into having to be the person that's there every single week, regardless of whether anybody else is there or not. So understand that going into it. I don't think there's a problem with it. Again, if you're not a personal trainer, I wouldn't recommend running them yourself that way. That's just my advice. Stacy says, I have a copy of my beautiful business card on my Facebook if people would like to see it. Absolutely. Graham said, you might have mentioned this, but what do you do if you don't have a TV or you do this in the park? Projector with a DVD player. And again, it's like I mentioned to Faith, if you're, this is specifically about exposing people to the Beachbody workouts through the DVDs so they can see that they can do them. If you're a personal trainer and you've got, you know, P90X memorized, you can go ahead. You know, I'm not saying that you can't do that. What I want you to understand, though, is you want to make this a completely duplicatable thing. Like, if I'm not there one week, any one of my coaches can take a DVD and put it in the projector, and Fit Club is going to continue without a hiccup. So if you're doing a workout that everybody doesn't know that's on your team, then you might kind of be setting yourself up for failure in a way if you don't have somebody else there that can step up and cover. That's all I'm saying. So that's just things that you want to consider. But again, it's your Fit Club, so you run it the way that you see fit. What I'm trying to get across is the whole method of duplication. A DVD, anybody can put in the DVD and press play. Tom says, great info tonight. A popular question tonight is how to allow new coaches to get organized with other coaches. You mentioned the call to action. Great info, and I plan to do that. But in general, I know most of the coaches I have as Facebook friends are outside the Cincinnati area. So something you might want to mention is the cool Facebook Advanced Search app. With it, I was able to search for people that belong to the P90X fan site and live in the Cincinnati area. I had a dozen pages of results. I did a trial run of sending 10 friend requests explaining I'm a new coach to the P90X Nuts for a group workout. I had 3 respond back as friends. None were coaches, but all want to be involved with group workout. Cool. That's great information, Tom, and that was something that I wasn't aware of. So that's what I love about these calls is, you know, we all pool together. We're all in this together, and we all learn things from each other that we take little nuggets. So that's great. I love that information. That's something that I'm going to try too, Tom. So thank you for sharing that. Dan said, do you have a sample video of your call to arms on Facebook? Yep. If you go to my videos, it's in there. I think I just labeled it call to action. Bill said, all my friends are coaches on Facebook. What should I do? All of my friends are on. I don't know. That's a good question. Punt? I don't know, Bill. Anna says, also they can find coaches in their area on the Team Beachbody website. Yeah, I guess you could do an advanced search by zip code, actually, that way, and find people. Thank you for that, Anna. Face says, thank you. This has been so helpful. You're welcome. I'm glad it was of assistance to you. Harold says, wanted to confirm you take the info collected and sign them up as a free customer. Yeah, you can sign them up as like a Wowie free player. All right. I know some coaches that are doing fit clubs where they will get the people's information, sign them up, assign them a generic password like fitness, and then get it to them and tell them to change the password. Personally, I'm not comfortable doing that. I would rather sit down with them or get them on the phone and walk them through it. Take them to my website, walk them through that process on the phone. I just feel wrong doing that. That's just my own little quirkiness. Do what you're comfortable doing, but I do know that there are a lot of coaches that are doing it that way, and that way there's no mistake when it comes time for them to purchase product. But again, you have to do what this is your deal, so you do what you're comfortable doing. Annette says Sergeant Fury's Fit Club. Dan said, can you make payment on the Diamond Pack if you can't afford the total cost? Dan, I don't believe it's set up for a payment plan. I think it's the full $5.99. After the 31st, it's going to be $6.99, and that's only going to be available to coaches when they are first signing up to be a coach. For coaches that are existing in the system, it's going to be, I want to say $9.23 or $9.28. It goes up considerably. But, you know, Beachbody's always throwing perks out there too, so who knows. Kathy said she's down 2 pounds so far from the 3-day cleanse. We'll do final weight tomorrow and measure the waist. I've been at a plateau for too long. Great to see results. Awesome, Kathy. I love hearing that. Keep up the great work, girl. Bill said, I did see the cleanse in the back office. Cool. Sean says, how does one go about becoming a trainer? There's a variety of places you can go to get certified as a trainer. ISSA is who I went through, but if you go to Google and type in personal trainer certification, there'll be a whole bunch of them that pop up. You can do them at home, online. They send you books. You can read through the material online without even cracking a book, take the tests, final exams and whatnot, everything online. Bill says, do you help people that have trouble with certain exercise? If they ask me to, yes. And the reason for that is through experience and the fact that I'm an instructor, so I am qualified to answer that one. The other thing that you can do if people ask you a question is I would throw out a disqualifier. And again, I'm erring super far on the side of caution here. I'd say, well, you know, I'm not a trainer, but from personal experience, I found this, and then explain it that way. And that way it's not, you know, we live, unfortunately, in a very litigious society, and I don't want to see anybody ever get jammed up with any issues. So, Graham said, so I am not a fitness trainer. Does that mean I can't run the exercises myself, only if I actually run the DVD? That also means I need to find a cheap place. I'm not saying that you can't do that, Graham. Know the law in your area, because some places require, if you're up in front of a group or you're doing personal training, that you are required to be licensed as a personal trainer. Other states have absolutely zero requirements. So, you know, check into that. And people like to work out. I think it's great to get people working out. But again, I think it's easier to sell somebody P90X if they just did a workout with Tony Horton leading the P90X workout, and that's just my own swing on it. But you know, do what you're comfortable with. If you're having fun doing it and people are showing up, then do it. That's what matters, is getting people moving. So it's kind of I'm trying to give you my opinion of the best approach as far as the Beachbody business specifically. Ultimately, to me, the most important thing is getting people moving. I don't care what they're doing. So, cool. Patty's in Cincinnati. Meet up with Patty. You guys can start your fit club together. Kathy says the 3-day cleanse is under Shakeology product in our video library. So thank you for that, Kathy. 3-day cleanse is under Shakeology product in the video library. And John said, isn't Patty in Cincinnati? She may be starting a fit club. All these fit clubs, this is awesome. You guys and gals just rock. Maybe someone asked this already. If so, my mic is not working. Does the waiver need to be approved by a lawyer? The waiver was actually created by a lawyer, but that being said, every state is a little bit different. So if you have a lawyer that you've dealt with or that you work with on a basis that you could bring them in, have them review it, it wouldn't hurt. I know the one that I'm using here in Illinois has been stamped, and that was kind of the cool thing being a cop, is I knew lots of lawyers. So Kevin said, do you do the entire workout routine with the video, or do you walk around the class motivating, yelling at people? I typically do the whole workout, but I'll move around the room too. I'll in between moves I'll jump in beside somebody and motivate them. And I don't try to push people beyond their abilities. I'm not like Bob and Jillian with it, but I have fun. I have fun, and people seem to have fun too. So, Faith said, Mark, have you tried body solutions that strengthens the complete body and helps build the body to prevent further injury? I have done total body solutions with Chad Waterbury and Debbie Siebers. I had a shoulder and neck injury. I tried my hand at mixed martial arts for a while, and a few times I had my neck 8 degrees out of alignment, and that became one of my good friends, that program. So I have not done that for a fit club, but certainly something you could do. My personal opinion on it's kind of boring and dry, and I want something that's action oriented, that's going to get people sweaty and excited. I think every workout has its place, and I do think that is a great restorative workout program. Mark, they're only 10 minutes long, the sample DVDs. Okay. Yeah, I mean you could do a sampler, but like she said, it's 10 minutes. I want them to do a full workout. I want them to get a full sample of what a real workout is, and that's just me. I mean, that's not to say that you couldn't, or if you were pressed for time, certainly keep that as an option. But I like full workouts. Dan asks where the sample workouts are at. So if somebody can type that in, I will put that out there. The only one I know about is that trial workout Tony does with the Pay It Forward, which is actually a full workout. Steve says, not sure how to do all the tech stuff, but I'll get it figured out. I bet you will. And that is a great idea, by the way, Steve. Sandy says, can you describe the spelling for sending email to the leadership team? Lower uppercase, I wrote it down, but I want to be sure. Lower uppercase, it doesn't matter. It's just leadership, LEADERSHIP, at teamfitrevolution.com. Sandy says, in a park, I have seen an individual rent a small tent to cover a center TV with a small generator and DVD player. That would work. I don't see that being very cost effective. Personally, I think it would, shop around, go to different places. The community centers, I think, is a great idea, like Susan had pointed out, because that's what they specialize in, is community activities. So, and if you ask around, shop around, you can get a cheap projector. And like I said, the place that I am would actually have provided one had I bothered to ask, but I wanted to have one anyways because I travel around and do presentations in different places. So, by the way, save your receipts for all this stuff, because it is all business expense. It is all a tax write-off. So keep that in mind as well. Donnie asks, what is Stacy's Facebook screen name so I can see her business card? So Stacy, what's your Facebook screen name? Sandy says, can I find coaches using Beachbody Buddy Search? Simply narrow to your city. I would think so. I would think that would work. Jenny says, Mark, I'm having a really hard time signing up coaches. Any suggestions? I'm on Facebook, been to Meetup, talked to people. My PV is good, just can't seem to sign a coach. My question to you, Jenny, is have you put yourself through all of the game plan training? And are you doing your 2 contacts or your 2 exposures a day every day? Because I can tell you, even at my level with doing this, I'll go weeks where I won't sign a coach, but I am out there every single day talking to people that I meet. And, I'll go a month sometimes where I don't sign a coach, and then all of a sudden I'll have 5 coaches sign up in a week. So it's about being persistent and consistent day in and day out. Don't talk too much about it. If you're following the game plan, you're just sharing your excitement with people about what you're doing. I'm a coach for this great company called Team Beachbody. I think it's something that you'd really enjoy. Check out this video. That's it. So that's my advice there. And we actually do a training on how to talk to prospects too. So watch for that in the future if you haven't seen it yet. Steve, we got another one for you. Sergeant Slaughter, the next generation. Nice one, Harold. Donnie says, I have done a search on the Beachbody member gallery to find local coaches. However, is there a way to tell who is active and who is not? The only way I've been able to tell is to look at their workout calendar, which is time consuming. Way to find out, but that's at least an option that's available. If there's an easier way, let me know about it. I would say save your time on that. Just send them a message. If the ones that are interested are going to respond, just like the game plan says, work with the willing. If they don't want to act on it, next, go talk to the next person. But that's a great way to do it. Dan says, thank you for an awesome presentation. Well, thank you, Dan. I'm glad that you enjoyed it. Hopefully it was beneficial to everyone. Misty said, where would you find this state requirement to be a certified trainer to... You don't have to be a certified trainer to host a fit club. Okay? You absolutely don't have to be a certified trainer to host a fit club. Some states require that you are licensed as a personal trainer. So I would say search your state. If you're in California, say requirements of a personal trainer in the state of California. Type that whole thing into Google and see what pops up, and you'll find information that way. It'll refer you to links where you can find that stuff out. Lauren says, can I have Patty's info? You could, but I don't have it. So hopefully Patty's typed it in. I've still got a bunch to get through here, so if it comes up, I will announce it. Bill says, how would you introduce a fit club to your church? I would say, just like I would any place else, I would say, we're interested in starting a group. And, if you make it on Sunday after church, bring your exercise clothes with you. This is open to anybody that wants to exercise. We're going to do a workout DVD, and we can talk a little bit about nutrition, and you can make it interesting and just get people involved. It's just very, very straightforward. Graham in Plano, Texas is looking to start a fit club. Any takers? I need a partner. I set up a meetup on meetup.com and had a lot of response. I just don't have a venue. I'm looking so hard. I want someone to split the cost with me. There is already a fit club in Dallas, but I want my own. I want one in my area, Plano or Allen. Graham, that's a great one. I'd put that out on Facebook, man. I'm telling you, there's a bunch of coaches out in your area. I know that for a fact that there's a ton of coaches out there. So, shop around for a venue. Jenny says video library under workout for the sample workouts. Thank you, Jenny. Missy says, have you ever considered doing either Tony's Patience Hummingbird or Shailene Extreme Recharge yoga style workout for your fit club? Sure. My plan is to work through as many of them as possible. But again, you kind of have to cater to the crowd, because a majority of people are going to be switched off by that. A lot of people don't like yoga. I'm a big believer in it. I know how necessary and important it is, but it's important. Jenny says, yes, I am. Steve, Forward March Fit Club. That's a pretty good one. It's got a nice, gentle ring to it. You probably won't scare people like Sergeant Slaughter, The Next Generation. Chris says, I have found my local Moose Lodge American Legion is a great place for a workout. There you go. Another option. Krista said you can order the sampler DVD from Coach Resource Center under the Sales and Marketing tab in the back office. Not sure it's available anymore. Okay, cool. Thank you, Krista. All right, Patty's information. Everybody, grab your pen. Here we go. You can reach Patty at misspatty@cinci.rr.com. Once again, that is misspatty@cinci.rr.com, or on Team Beachbody. She is Patty Lane, Patty, and the last name spelling is Lane. Let's do this. Love the enthusiasm. That's awesome. Dan says, anyone on here around the Detroit area? I want to do this. Contact me. Search Dan Watson on Facebook. All right. And Graham says, awesome webinar. And that was our last one. So I'm going to shut it down for tonight. I again want to thank each and every one of you for taking the time out of your night to join me. It's always a pleasure bringing the training to you. You know, I want to see everybody in this business be successful in what they do. I want to see all of you be happy. I want to see all of you be fit. I want to see all of you bring it to the masses and live to your potential and make your dreams come true. So thank you so much. It's been a great call. I hope you enjoy the rest of the weekend. Stay safe, and God bless each and every one of you. Good night.